Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's an unmanned aerial vehicle. If you're not familiar with the term UAV, you might know these futuristic flying machines by another name, drones. But while the D word comes with some political baggage, UAV is connotation-free.
What we want to make clear is that we're using these vehicles for very good purposes.
This morning, pilot Chris Hartman is setting up shop in a cornfield at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Laptop?
Check.
Okay.
Remote control? Check. UAV outfitted with near-infrared camera? Check and check. But what does this high-tech contraption have to do with corn?
I think the UAVs allow us to get that big picture perspective of the fields that's not really possible from any other angle.
Since 2007, Chris has been experimenting with using UAVs to measure crop health and determine fertilizer needs. It's a subject that's near to his heart.
My family, going back to the late 1700s, were farmers, so I think to an extent I have agriculture in my blood.
And you'll never guess who's co-piloting today's flight.
So we're about ready to fly this puppy?
Not quite. We have a couple of pre-flight items we want to do just to make sure everything's good to go.
All right.
After a quick pre-flight check to make sure the drone knows which way is up.
Pitch up.
Check.
Pitch down.
Check. All right, your airspeed's at 0. Home altitude is 4 meters.
We're ready for takeoff.
Here we go.
As the UAV soars over the field, the onboard camera snaps dozens of near-infrared photos.
What it's capturing actually tells us a lot about the health of the plants relative to other plants in the field or across the scale of the field.
But we'll get to that later. For now, all I want to know is, can I try? If it looks easy.
Nice.
Touch there. Yeah, just put your thumb on it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
It's not.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Luckily for Chris, his laptop does a lot of the heavy lifting. Aside from takeoff and landing, which Chris controls manually, the UAV follows a pre-programmed flight plan and automatically snaps photos at specific coordinates to make sure the camera doesn't miss a single row of corn. It's more thorough than the old-fashioned method of surveying the field by foot, and faster.
We can image about 10 acres in about a 10-minute flight.
Turning those images into something useful to farmers takes about 8 hours. How it works is actually pretty simple. The software analyzes how much near-infrared energy the plants are reflecting. The healthier the plant, the more it reflects. This helps determine how much nitrogen fertilizer the cornfield needs.
These are the images we took over the field with the UAV, and we actually take the near-infrared photos and we perform an analysis on it. So the areas that are green here are relatively healthier than the areas that are yellow or red in the image.
What do you do with that?
Then we turn that actually into a prescription for the field. So this is actually a nitrogen rate prescription for this field.
So, plainly said, green is going to get more nitrogen and red is going to get less nitrogen?
On this map, the way that we've got it set up, yeah.
This prescription is then loaded into the sprayer, which doles out different amounts of nitrogen fertilizer to different areas of the field.
We apply the right amount of nitrogen in the right place. There's not going to be excess that runs off or too little, and we won't experience a full harvest.
Good for the environment and the farmer. And outfit this little guy with, say, a thermal camera instead of an infrared camera, and you get a completely different set of data.
We could potentially pick out things like pests or other diseases. Figuring out how we use water more effectively is one of the other things that we can do. So the sky's the limit in terms of what we can do there.
This promising technology probably hasn't made it to a farm near you, yet. But while the FAA works on sorting out regulations, Chris is working on perfecting a product that will help farmers do one of the most important jobs out there.
Feeding a growing population, given very many environmental constraints that we have, it's incredibly important that we figure out these things and we bring these technologies to bear on these very critical issues.